Hello everyone, Chris Assis here, and today we're going to be focusing on the source of the movement. So basically what that means is even though all our body parts, if we want to move in an efficient way, they all work together. There is usually a source, a where the movement is initiated from, but all the other parts of the body are in support of this movement. Again, if we are aiming for an effortless, efficient way of moving. So, so in order to understand this, we're going to exaggerate a little bit, focusing on the source of the movement itself. So we're going to shift that source in order to understand how that changes, to feel how that changes our movement. It's a subtle change, but it is a change. Feel how that changes our movement, and feel how that might have some impact on our understanding of the movement itself. We're starting with really simple stuff: walks, but basic walks and ochos. And we're going to be focusing on the standing leg as the initiator of the movement, and then the free leg as the initiator of the movement. It will help you understand better the walk and the process of walking, the process of the ochos a little better, and the communication between the two legs, as well as the communication between the legs and the body, um, with the goal, of course, to make this a more effortless, a more aware uh, dance experience. So the idea is not to take this exercise as is and put it on the dance floor, but more to understand where how the dots are connected. Just another way to explore all the different dots, or all the different ways the dots can connect. So, with no further ado, here we go. So let's start here, focusing on the standing leg. So notice how the standing leg is starting that movement first. And yep, they might be hard to stop. And it basically, you're using the floor, you're pushing into the floor to propel yourself forward. And the same thing will happen when we're going backwards. The idea here is to understand that the action and initiating this action from the standing leg will require you to shift the weight around and through your whole foot, and try to understand how that rolling from the front to the back can be it can be done in the most subtle, soft, efficient, aligned with the rest of the leg way. So if you're feeling any tension in your knees, in your hips, if you're feeling that you're pushing always from the front, from the big toe, or if you're feeling you're falling too far back or too far out or too far in, any combination, any pain, any discomfort, take a moment and focus on how you're managing that weight. So this is a great opportunity, because this is we're zooming in on zooming in the standing leg being the initiator of the movement. So as the initiating force, as the source of your walk, it it should be as efficient. Its work needs to become as efficient as possible. And now the free leg. You notice how it's going before I start bending the standing leg. So it's gonna swing through, and you can make your steps big like I did now or small. It doesn't matter. The size does not matter as long as you are. And let's take a look at this back step. For you to swing back, you keep going and then you bend that knee. And you might have, even from the previous video, the previous clip, notice that this sounds quite familiar. It is, part of all of a rule that you've heard in some tango classes. So you can see how now these rules might be but it might start making some sense that this rules are generated by the fact that whoever was the you know the maker of that style decided that, for example, the free leg should be the one initiating the movement. So if we pay close attention, you're swinging through and it feels as if you're pulling your way forward or back. Everything else is not deactivated, it's still active, it's just there to support. And we've exaggerated this difference between leading and supporting that other things are becoming more obvious. So, if we, like before, if we feel that you might be feeling some negative impact of this in how the upper body is responding, so you don't want to let your center or your back or generally the upper body deactivate. You might feel some tension in the lower back. You might also feel some tension in the chest and in the neck. If you are not responding to this pull, let's put that in many quotes, but or that more aggressive swing. And I'm exaggerating here so you can see it even better. And now simply walk. And I know it's easier said than done, interestingly enough. You want to, as you can see in the video now, um, both are merged. You can't really tell exactly what the source of the movement is, and that is because it's all integrated. And maybe it's somewhere more central in the body. Someone might identify that the belly button or the area around the core might be the initiator. But it doesn't really matter at this point. Take your mind away from that, and of course, feel free to repeat the previous exercises a lot more times before you reach this point. But make the flow and understanding how everything works together, how everything is there to support the action of walking. Every little part or big part of the body is being part of the walk. So that is the focus for this section. Okay, now in the ochos, we're doing exactly the same thing, only of course we are in a ocho position, which makes things very interesting because now I really think this makes things so obvious of where all the contradicting rules of tango come from. So, if I'm pretty sure you've seen dancers dance like this, and it's not wrong. It is accentuating, starting and focusing on the standing leg being the source of the movement. So you can see because I'm bending that knee, because I am determined to move forward, I swing the leg and step, and then bring myself around. So everything is coordinated by the standing leg. And this creates a specific style of dancing. Now, it is interesting here to see, because we are in a twisted position, to see how the the twist, the dissociation, even though I don't like to use that word, has an effect to this step, and also to start understanding of how that swing that's now created by the base is affecting the rest of the body. And these are, some question marks that you might want to put in the when you're practicing a specific style, to say, is this the most efficient way, or from what you see, do you think that this is a waste of energy? If so, maybe you need to put a question mark into this. That's something, that's extra bonus from this video. So things that might go wrong here, and things to look out for. Make sure that you're, especially when you're at this moment doing the pivot, try not to tense up. Sometimes we focus so much on that standing leg and trying to bring that heel around that our whole body tenses up. So that might mean that your weight is slightly off the spot where it needs to be. Maybe you're a little bit too far back, or actually you might be pressing in the floor too much. You might be too far forward instead of too far back. So try to arrange the weight where it should be. It should feel that yes, it is a little bit stiffer, and that again in quotes for lack of a better word, but it shouldn't be painful. And watch out for the tension in the shoulders and the neck. That's usually where it appears. Okay, and now the free leg. So this is really like um, the swing of the leg is moving the base. And again, if you've taken some classes with the more modern style uh, teachers, you might have heard that same phrase actually. The free leg moves the base, right? So, and that you can see, I'm pretty sure you can identify those styles here, um, where that is exactly what is happening. So, that is to tell you that it's not that they're contradicting the other people. It's not a difference in movement technique. It's just their focus is different from what somebody else might say. So the thing in terms of energy, like before, what you would notice here is, and you might want to put a question mark to this. Um, am I creating too much energy for such a simple pivot? All this work for just a step and a pivot. So, yes, it might look more flowy, but um, is this flow too much? Do I need all this flow? So that's the question for this part of this video. Then the second part is, you will notice that this swing created by the free leg creates a different reaction in the upper body. So try to feel that, because when you tone it down and you put the two together, you want a little bit of, basically you want a little bit of everything, right? You want the good parts from both versions. So things to pay attention to. Just be careful. Sometimes when we overdo it with a swing, we might kick, let's say that's in a more fitnessy way, kick more aggressively than our body can support. And that can create some pulled muscles and soreness in the back. Try to avoid that. I mean, exaggerate, but in a safe way. Let allow for your hips to respond. Do not try to keep the hips square and the shoulders as well. And aim for an effortless flow in this last part of the video. So what you can see here is, and I hope I hope that it is obvious through the video, that again, the source is not that obvious, and I am not paying attention to that at all. I am more paying attention and grabbing all the good stuff from the two options, making the whole body work together to create this, to create the forward and the back ochos. What the free leg can contribute, what the standing leg can contribute, the upper body, the shoulders, the hands, the neck, the head, every little part is dancing these forward and back ochos. And so the result is a set of ochos that it might not be very clear where it's starting from, but it's definitely flowy.